Cori,
Hey, how are you, Matt?
lovely. Should have I worn my Boy
Good.
Scout uniform?
Well, I mean, hey, we decided we might as well, look presentable at least. So,
There you go. I was an Eagle Scout back when I was 18.
No, you are an Eagle Scout.
Okay, I became an Eagle Scout when I was 17. Actually, probably realistically, because don't you have to do it before you're 18?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, for some reason I can't get my camera to work. I have no idea why.
Just rub it a little bit.
Okay, whack it a couple times. There we go. Okay.
There we go.
And now, if you do want to know, Cori and I do have different uniforms on. I decided to use some color contrast here. I went with the green, which is our venturing, which is the high adventure outdoor activities for boys and girls ages 14 to 20. And Cori does the Scouts BSA version, basically for boys and girls, basically from age 10 and a half, 11 up to 18. Now, neither one of us could probably fit in a little blue Cub Scout uniform. So we just held off on not even trying that, just to let you know where we're at.
Well, don't they have those for like the Cub Scout leaders? Or
Actually, no. Actually, the adult leaders actually wear the brown uniforms.
Really? For Cub Scouts?
Yep.
Would have that been different back when I was in it many moons ago?
I think, yeah, actually years ago in the 70s and 80s up until about the 90s, you could actually get, it was a yellow shirt for the women. And I think there was a blue, it's been a while. There may have been a blue adult shirt, but I can't remember for sure. But I know the women's had, or as one of our friends calls it, no, it wasn't yellow, it was gold, as in blue and gold for this Cub Scout program. So that's what they always do.
We like blue and gold. So I like Notre Dame football.
Oh, man. Not a Notre Dame fan, but okay. So there you go.
Well, my son plays for them, so cool. I have to be a fan.
Yeah, you're right. Kind of a prerequisite, I said.
Yeah,
We're always looking for good volunteers. So either one of you have an opportunity still to be in the Scouts, just to let you know. Okay.
Okay. Well, I went through the whole first day, and they gave us a milk and a cheese sandwich. Okay. Yep. I don't know if that's
the OA. Yes. Yep.
That's all we got for lunch.
Yep.
And I'm not a small dude. So
I feel your pain there.
That didn't go too far. But that night they gave us this pizza, and this pizza was awesome. I'll never forget that pizza. So yeah, that I think that's a culture shock to a lot of young people who don't know how to work. When you get down there and they put you to work for the whole day and they give you a piece of cheese, 2 pieces of bread, and a little shot of milk for lunch, you know?
Well, to be honest though, that is part of the OA induction ceremony program, and it's working on irksome tasks for minimal food for the first day. They like I said, they still took care of you at night with plate pizza. I mean, everybody loves pizza, at least
that pizza was, as far
as I know.
Great. I don't know.
So that's this part of the OA. Now, when you go to camp, usually we feed you pretty good. So for summer camp, so just let you know that. So I don't want anybody to get the idea that we only feed cheese sandwiches and milk for every meal down at camp.
Well, I'll tell you a summer camp story, and it's still, I mean, I'm 50. It's still something that I probably use when I'm communicating with people. The way I say something is something that I learned at Boy Scout camp. But you get some of these fathers that want to be involved that they mean very well, but a lot of people probably aren't used to how they do stuff. So we'd go to Pine Matuming for our summer camp, and we'd be down there for a week. And you'd get dads kind of showing up that really weren't involved when you weren't at summer camp. Okay. And we had this dad out one morning making scrambled eggs. And I'm talking like a big, huge skillet, okay? A big pan, like dozens of eggs. And it was cold out that morning, and he's standing over the pan of eggs, snot dripping out of his nose into the eggs. And he's going, nice, nice, beautiful. Oh, these eggs are going to be so good. And he could not understand why nobody ate any of the eggs. So still to this day, I use the nice, beautiful, kind of sarcastically, because I wasn't eating those eggs. So I hope you're getting all this, Brewer. This is some good stuff, buddy. You better be getting this.
It's one of those things where you always remember some of the worst events that happened, but they're memorable and you won't forget them. So that's always got to fun.
I'm not going to tell you that was like a worst event. It was a funny event. And I remember the guy's name. I remember the guy's family. And it's just like everything that guy did was a little different. Now I learned how to canoe, sailboat, motorboat. I mean, I can tie knots to this day. Those things like stay with you, you know, for a long time. It was very, very, very beneficial. So I really enjoyed it. My dad was involved, and that was one of the things. Like, I always liked to play sports. He wasn't involved much with that, but he loved the Boy Scouts, and he'd go to summer camp and he'd teach some of the merit badges, and you know, we got to spend time with them then. So all right,
that's probably the biggest benefit is the adult volunteers. I mean, for the most part, Cori and I work professionally for the Scouts. I mean, this is what our job is, and we always get the question that, you really you can work for the Boy Scouts? It's like, well, yes, you can. You work for the Boy Scouts. But really, this is a volunteer organized organization. We rely on the volunteers for that. The parents, the dads, the aunts, uncles, grandmas, and grandpas that really run this program. We're here to support them. That's what Cori and I do on a constant basis and everything else. But we've got some awesome volunteers. And I think that's the one thing we try and push and remind people of, that, listen, this is not an organization if you just want to drop your kids off and run. We're going to ask you for your help. And whether it may be maybe bringing cookies to the next Cub Scout meeting, or maybe taking your troop on a weekend outing or something like that. But participation is really key. And the one thing I always learned I've worked for the Boy Scouts for about 25 years. And the one thing I've always learned and always take and remind all of our volunteers for is, it's usually the 1 hour of the week I can guarantee you will spend with your son or daughter, because they have weekly meetings and weekend meetings too that are on top of that. The standard running joke though is with their adults is, yeah, it's only 1 hour a week. That's all it is. It's just 1 hour a week. But then we add per kid. So if you got a group of 5, it may take you 5 to 10 hours a week. So you're fine. But right. The volunteers are the most wonderful asset that we have in the scouting program. And like every program right now, nobody has enough of them. And it's the busy ones that are the ones we want to get involved, because, they're dedicated to the program.
Yeah, we do this every month, and that's what we do a children's organization and typically a charity every month, and that's what you hear over and over again. And that's why part of our mission here is to bring awareness. Cori, we got your name, Cori Erford. I said that right?
Yep.
And Duane Havard.
Very good, very good.
Oh man,
I get Harvard a lot, but usually it's one less R and a lot less.
I actually read it. There's some words out there, people like Favre. Like if you were trying to pronounce Favre. Yeah, Favre. Like I always tell my wife, like, let's get some jalapenos. Like, I don't.
Japalinos.
Right. Okay, so Cori and Duane are with the Boy Scouts of America. Okay, this is Matthew Bauer and Nate Brewer with 4002 and you. I'm actually with the Boy Scouts of America too, I guess, as you said, once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout, right? Mm-hmm. So tell us, I think most people know what the Boy Scouts are, but maybe it's changed somewhat since I was, participating on a greater basis. So who actually can participate in the Boy Scouts?
Well, the Boy Scouts, basically for any councils around the United States, there's 253 Boy Scout councils around the United States and actually across overseas. Boys and girls can participate from ages basically kindergarten for 5 years old, kindergarten up to age 20 as youth members, and then they can do adult members too. There are a few different programs that we offer. There's the Cub Scout program, which is the kindergarten up through about fifth grade. And then there's Scouts BSA, which is the troops that the boys and girls can participate in from age 11 up until 18. we have 2 youth co-ed programs that are involved in scouting, which a lot of people don't realize. They've been involved since the 70s. One of them is the venturing program, which is high adventure outdoor activities, which I'm wearing my uniform, my venturing uniform for. And then they do anything from mountain biking and rock climbing, things like that. And then we also have an exploring program, which is a career-based program set with different companies around the United States and in our area too. St. Vincent Hospital is one of the longest tenured explorer posts in the United States. They started back in the 70s when exploring started, had really the same coordinator for that program since the 70s, and she retired about 2 years ago. So, but that program, the exploring program, actually has for that just that hospital, for St. Vincent Hospital, typically around 45 to 120 kids every year, and in the program, and they usually do a monthly meeting is what they do. So and they get to see doctors, emergency rooms, anything and everything at the hospital. So we always kind of like to highlight, everybody knows, like Matthew, they know the traditional scouting programs, the little cute little kids in the blue shirts and the bigger kids in the brown shirts, but a lot of people don't know about the venturing program and the exploring program. So we always like to know that. But yeah, it's a great program for boys and girls all the way up through. A lot of things that are available to them.
So what are both of your roles in scouting right now? Duane, you want to tell us your role, and then Cori, you can tell us your role?
Yeah, my role is I'm considered the scout executive of the French Creek Council, CEO, I guess is one way to put it.
And that's around Erie County?
Yeah, actually, the French Creek Council runs actually 6 counties in Northwest Pennsylvania. So we cover from Erie County, well, we always say it's the inner loop here of down to Hermitage, Grove City, Clarion, back up through Titusville. So we cover 6 counties in Northwest Pennsylvania. The district, the council is divided into 3 districts. There is the Oliver Perry district, which is all of Erie County, which Cori will talk more about that. There is the Chief-Condashua district, which is Mercer County and Western Crawford. And then there is the Colonel Drake district, which is basically from Clarion up to Titusville. So each one of these districts actually has another staff member that serves those areas, and they kind of run they have their own mini board meetings and committee members and things like that. And just make sure the program is running smooth for our kids. And that's probably the funnest part about this is the council has each individual district, which really came together in this 1972 when this council formed. It was basically 3 different councils that came together to form the French Creek Council at that point. So myself, I've been involved with professionally for over 25 years, working for the Boy Scouts of America. So I started out in the Midwest, went to Maine for a few years, and now I've been here for about the last 14 years. So, and then that's my background. So Cori, I'll let you throw that out.
Yeah, so I am considered the Oliver Perry District Executive. So basically, I do what my boss Duane tells me. My district, Oliver Perry, covers all of Erie County. So I cover the least amount of territory geographically, but I cover the most amount of volunteers and youth. Actually, I cover just in Erie County, we have about 1,000 scouts, which is about half of the entire council's scouts. So I have my work cut out for me. I've been involved in scouts since I was in 1st grade, I believe. Started in Tiger Cubs, and I grew up down in Conneaut Lake, so pretty local. And I was involved all the way up through Boy Scouts, and I ended up getting my Eagle Scout out of Troop 228 in Conneaut Lake. Afterwards, I'm now employed with the Boy Scouts as a district executive. I've been with them professionally for about 1.5 years, but I still volunteer pretty regularly with my unit back home as well. So,
yeah, I believe our troop number in Harbor Creek, Pennsylvania was 151. It still is.
Yep.
151.
Yes, sir.
So I remember back in the 80s, like all the different things that we could do. And we had, I mean, heck, I bet you we had 50 to 100 people in our troop. We met at Our Lady of Mercy. We did summer camp, like I said, at Plymouth or at Pymatuming, which was always look forward to that. That was a great week. What opportunities now, like if someone were to join scouting or someone's in scouting, like what, give us a couple of the great opportunities that are available for some of these younger kids.
Go ahead, Cori.
We kind of have, I don't want to call them sales pitches, but we do kind of have two sales pitches. One is kind of geared towards the parents and one is kind of geared towards the youth. For the parents, we do a lot of talking on, the character development that scouts can get, the values that scouting can instill into your youth. The great citizenship and leadership skills that it can teach the youth. But let's be honest, what youth wants to hear about that? The parents love that, but to get the youth interested, that's where we bring in we reference Custalouga Town a lot. That's our council camp. Matt, you said that you had been there before. We push a lot of the programs that we offer there. Such as shotgun shooting, rifle shooting, climbing. We offer canoeing, kayaking, different things like that. And then other opportunities that scouting can offer are some of the high adventure things. So you can get into some pretty serious rock climbing. You can get into whitewater rafting. We have high adventure camps located throughout the United States that a lot of scouts have opportunities to attend. Not only are they learning the outdoor skills, the survival skills, and the life skills, but they're having a lot of fun while they're learning that. So
we also
Wait, you look a little bit older than Cori. Okay.
I'm a little bit, not much. Yeah.
Could you maybe tell us a little bit about, because I'm sure I can, but can you tell us about maybe some things that you learned in scouting that you still use today in your more CFO role, like you could attribute back to what you learned as you were growing up?
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I was only involved in Cub Scouts and only about a year and a half in the Boy Scouts at the time. The scout troop in my local hometown in Moravia, our town had a whole population of 700 people. So it was a small town, and unfortunately, I was involved in all the other stuff too. So I'm making up for my years that I did not make it to an Eagle Scout like Cori did. So by working professionally, but I tell you, the things that I remember was just a lot of fun. What you don't think about is kids' perspective of what you learn, and some of it's the sportsmanship attitude. It's the teamwork stuff. I tell you, that's probably the biggest thing with the scouting program, especially with the troops. You get into the leadership opportunities for the kids, and it's fun to see kids fail, but they do it in a safe environment, and they have the adults there to correct them, help them, advise them, and the big entertainment value is watching some of these kids that have never filled in a leadership role take the time, especially if they're camp staff or something like that for a summer, become adults and learn how do I delegate? How do I ask somebody else for help? How do I disperse the duties of all of our camping things, from anything from buying our groceries and things like that? I think the teamwork for me when I was in Cub Scouts was the big thing. Was we always did things as a team. I had the same den. I started in second grade was when I started in Cub Scouts, and went through and then moved into Boy Scouts. But it was one of those things where we went to Miss Chelsvig's house every Tuesday, rode the bus there, and my parents would pick me up afterwards. But it was all the fun we had. And then the outings, the Pinewood Derby races, and making their own cars and different activities like that. But I think that's probably the one thing, and I received the most out of it and learned the most, was just the teamwork atmosphere and the attitude that you get from working in the Cub Scout program, because the parents are there, as Cori said earlier, that they love the fact that these kids will learn leadership skills, life-saving skills, how to volunteer. And we did that when I was a little kid. I remember doing the food drives and stuff like that too for the community. But the bigger thing was just, I had friends, and that was what I enjoyed about it. And we were a group that stuck together for 4 years of Cub Scouting and all got into Boy Scouts. And unfortunately, they didn't always stay in it with all the years. But Cori could probably remind us of all the other stuff that goes on, because he was one of the Eagle Scouts. He's an Eagle Scout. I didn't make it that far. So
Cori, give us your, like, what do you use now? And you're a little bit younger than we are, but what do you use now that you learned in scouting that, you know, stuck with you and you could remember?
Like I had said, after getting Eagle Scout in my troop back home, I actually started volunteering as an adult leader. Something that I realized was just how many skills and how much knowledge you get through scouting that, you know, you almost feel like you have to give back to the youth. And so as an adult leader, it's amazing getting to kind of revisit what you did learn, but kind of see it through a 13-year-old kid's eyes, you know, because I mean, the world is much different for a young teenager or even a Cub Scout than it is for, you know, us as adults. So getting to revisit that, it's awesome. You know, it's life changing. You know, and you can just see the joy in those kids' eyes when you're teaching them a knot and it finally clicks for them. You're like, holy cow, you know, and it's awesome. You know, it's a great feeling. And the scouting program has provided me with opportunities that I would have never had, you know, if I wasn't in scouting. Some of my closest friends are my friends because of scouting. You know, I had a chance to go to various camps all throughout the United States. You know, I've been on the longest zip line this side of the Mississippi. I've been on the largest rock wall this side of the Mississippi, all because of scouting. So it provides you with a lot of fun opportunities and a lot of cool people you get to meet.
So the other day, knowing that we were going to have this conversation, I started just thinking about and trying to remember like the Boy Scout motto and the different badges that you would get as you promote. Like I remember Star, Life, Eagle Scout, and I probably missed a couple when you first come in, right? And I think for me, when you look back, like there was goals, there was objectives, there was timelines, there was book work, there were skills that you had to prove. It's almost like going to college. So
not quite as intense sometimes, but it is. Yeah, there's a lot of learning to it. I think the one thing we always make sure is we don't try and tell the kids they're learning anything. We just want to make sure they know they're having fun. And learning is a bonus.
I had fun at college once I learned that going to college was about learning. And when you put the time in to learn, taking the test was fun, right? So, and I don't mean in the negative, stressful way of college, just how somebody, you know, may think of it, but just the process that they run you through. And I was even trying to remember in my mind, I remember getting, like, we get books to go do a merit badge, and there might be like 5 things in there that you had to be able to recite or a skill you had to show, and then you get a merit badge. And when we go to summer camp, you could sign up for classes, just like when you went to college. You know, like 13-year-olds don't know what going to college is, but, you know, and then you would work your whole week to, at the end of the week, graduate and get your merit badge. And maybe that bumped you up from what's before Star, or is it different now?
When you first get in, you become a scout, then you move on to tenderfoot, second class, first class, Star, Life, then Eagle.
Oh man, there's more than I even remembered. Yeah, those, yeah, tenderfoot. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just preparing you for maybe high school or college, and they don't even know, because I think that definitely helped me when I got there. Let's see. So how many of those people on average that are in scouting that start as maybe like a 13-year-old actually get to Eagle Scout, and what does that really represent?
Good, Corey.
So right now, I believe the statistic is only 4% of people who are in scouting earn Eagle. So I mean, it's a huge accomplishment, just a couple fun statistics for you, that I think really, just show how important and how crucial that can be, is 85% of FBI agents in the US were at one time scouts. And also 26 of the first 29 astronauts were also involved in scouting. So it goes on a whole different level than what a lot of us ever even consider. And to get Eagle Scout just bumps you up that much more. I know a lot of scouts that have gone into the military, chose to serve their country, and being an Eagle Scout means so much to the military that when you get in after you make it through basic training, you get an automatic promotion and an automatic pay raise.
Oh, wow.
Just for being an Eagle Scout. Yeah.
And many businesses out there. I mean, I worked for a university for a few years before I started working for the Boy Scouts, and there's always scholarships available for Eagle Scouts, of course. But I know a number of people that I've talked to in companies that say, listen, if you're going to have Eagle Scout on your resume, you're going to be somebody that's going to be moved to the top of the list typically, because they know you've been through something. You've dedicated your leadership skills. You've learned leadership skills that a lot of places won't get. You may have the financial skills because they've taken an entrepreneurship merit badge, something like that, and they've learned some of the things. That's the one thing as far as pushing those things, reminding people about is the merit badges that they do earn in Scouts BSA. They'll prepare you for life. They will give you a lot of different opportunities that you may not get just by in high school and things like that, because there are some things that unfortunately the schools aren't able to teach now just because of the time frames and everything else that you get in the scouting program. And I'll tell you, that's the one thing that I always looked at when I worked for the university for a few years, is when we do the scholarship things, Eagle Scouts on there, it's going to be moved to the top of the list. A lot of businesses, a lot of Fortune 500s look at those people. They figure, these people have done something dedicated and they've learned. And the skills that come out of the scouting program are undeniable that they're going to make you better. There's been national reports that just lay out the fact that Scouts, even if they don't make it to Eagle Scout, if they've been involved in Scouts, they're typically going to do better in life than kids that are not involved in Scouts. And sometimes you got kids that are involved for 8 to 10 years, and some are maybe involved for 6 to 10 months. But no matter what you do in the scouting program, you're going to learn something. And I think that's the one most important thing is, no matter how long you are involved, we want to make sure that you do learn something, you have a good time, and it's something that'll affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I know as you got older, it became, some people would kind of, if you want to say, drop out or not attend the meetings, but it gets tough. You got high school, you got all these organizations you can become part of, sports teams. So that guy that's going to school and being part of the high school community and doing the Boy Scouts at the same time, he's got to learn time management skills.
Yep.
So, yes. So obviously we give a monetary donation. JD McCrory was the connection. He nominated the Boy Scouts. His kids are active in the Boy Scouts. JD's active in the Boy Scouts. So from how can other people help? I know we kind of touched on it earlier, but more specifically, like if somebody wanted to volunteer, they wanted to donate, they wanted to do something, what do you guys look for? What are the qualifications? Like if Nate Brewer wanted to come down and donate or volunteer today, what's he got to do?
Well, we'll come find Nate.
Okay.
I got applications, I'm sure, in the office or someplace. We'll just come find Nate and you, Matthew. We'll find you both. That's not a problem. So I think the key thing is just ask. volunteer. And I say this from a perspective of a nonprofit organization. If there's, even if it's not the scouting program, every organization out there, every nonprofit needs volunteers. And yeah, we always want everybody to join the scouting program with their kids and their families, but we have a lot of volunteers that have no kids in the program, or because they may have been involved. Like Cori, he got involved because he liked what he did and what he got out of the program. As far as the Boy Scouts, for kids to join, it's the beascout.org website. And you can go on there and you can find, putting your zip code, and it'll point you to the local scouting units that are in your area, based on your age and the details that you put in there. As far as the scouting, as far as volunteering, contact the council office, talk to some of our volunteers, call JD, just tell him he can get you hooked up too, Matthew.
You put JD's phone number on the screen, okay?
I don't know if you'd appreciate that or not, but the office number over here is 814-868-5571. Or you can email Cori or I. Basically, it's our names. It's Cori.Erford@scouting.org or Duane.Havard@scouting.org. So it has been very interesting. Recently, I was in, I went to the polling place this morning, did my civic duty, voted this morning, and actually one of the polling members there said, "Hey, I'm an Eagle Scout." And I was like, well, that's great. I mean, it kind of stands out when you're wearing a jacket that says Boy Scouts of America on it, and you're wearing a scout uniform underneath it and stuff like that. But yesterday I happened to be in Lowe's and stopped as a cashier. I was checking out and I said, yeah, I'm picking up some stuff for Boy Scout camp down at Cussaloga. Hey, I remember I'm an Eagle Scout. I went to Cussaloga Town as a kid too. So it's funny when you bring that conversation up, how often it brings back, as you said earlier, about your little cooking opportunity that had when you were a scout, and maybe not the most pleasant experience, but it's a memorable one.
Well, you know what? Other than the pizza, I don't remember like the really good hot dog, but I remember the scrambled eggs I wasn't going to eat. Okay, so you know, and back to you said about failure and watching the failures, and I remember like, you were taught if the boat capsized, this is what you do. And then we had to go perform it. So I remember a big thing at the end of Boy Scout camp was take your canoe out there, capsize the thing, get it flipped back over and get it back in the shore, you know, and all those things are very important. Even like my wife and I, we were in Florida and we rented a canoe and went out to see the manatee. And I'm trying to instruct her on how to paddle the canoe correctly as I learned from the Boy Scouts how to do it, you know, not like switch sides all the time, but you know, there's different strokes you use to keep that thing going straight, right? Those sort of things stick with you. And I think it was very important in my upbringing and my development.
Be prepared is our motto. And that's what we want. I mean, you described it perfectly as, okay, yep, there's going to be some point where you may turn over your canoe in the water and you may have to figure it out. So we're going to make you practice how to do that stuff, how to tie knots. I've known a lot of young men that have went into the military, and they were the most popular military officer ever, private, because they knew how to tie the knots to put the tents up and nobody else did. So I always laugh about that. I had that conversation with somebody the other day. Said, yeah, I made some extra money on the side because I was tying up everybody's tent. It's like, okay, well, hopefully you did a good deed and you didn't charge them for it. No, they just bought me some at the PX later on. It's like, okay, well, that works. Okay.
I remember one day I was tying knots with my younger son. I don't remember what we were tying up, but I was using different like clove hitch and half hitch or whatever, and square knot, even though I do the square knot wrong the first time and then I get it right the second time. And I think you always go backwards or whatever. So he's like, where the heck did you learn to tie all these knots? Well, in the Boy Scouts, that's where I learned it, right? You had to learn, and it comes in very, very handy, very handy. We don't realize it, but it definitely does when you get older. All right, last parting shot. What do you want to tell us? Like, Cori, like, magnify how big of a difference, and obviously they're providing your job, but how big of a difference did scouting make in your life?
Like I said earlier, not only did it provide me with different opportunities, different activities that I would have never done, different people that I would have never met, but it was a large reason of why I got accepted into college, why I got the scholarships that I got, why I got the jobs that I got even before working for the Scouts. I went into an interview one time. They looked at my resume. They said, "You're an Eagle Scout." I said, "Yes, sir." They didn't talk to me about the job at all. The entire conversation was about me being an Eagle Scout, and I got that job. So I mean, it has improved my life leaps and bounds. You know, it's definitely positively affected it.
And you smile the whole time you're saying that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. This was great. I really enjoyed it. So we're going to sign off from 4002 and you. Thank you, Cori. Thanks, Duane. Boy Scouts of America, get involved and be prepared. All
Yes,
right.
guys. Appreciate
Thank
it
you,
very
guys.
much. Thank you.